Hi, everybody. This is Lisa Haven, and I've got a very interesting topic for you guys, and it's this. Get ready for a real eye opener. If you don't believe in the Nephilim, you will after this. Photos, top secret documents, and more. Now, I have talked a lot about the Nephilim, and for those of you who don't know what they are, according to Genesis 6:4, let me go there. All right, and this is from the NASB. It says the Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also afterwards when the sons of God or fallen watcher angels came or had sex with the daughters of men, that's human women, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men of old, men of renown. And the Nephilim back then were also known as giants. Now, that is who the Nephilim are. They are the children or the offspring of fallen watcher angels and humans. These particular children were around in Noah's time, and as it also states, that they were also around after the time of Noah and also afterwards, as the King James puts it, and they're on the earth even now today. And what I want to try to do is show you some information on UFOs, which, as many of you know, I do believe that our modern day UFOs or aliens or gray aliens, as you know, are different types or Nephilim, so to speak, which are, again, the offspring of fallen angels and humans. So, what I want to show you today are some groundbreaking photos. Um, of Nephilim, and on top of that, some classified documents directly from uh, government sources such as the FBI. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. Hopefully, at this point, if you haven't believed in Nephilim or UFOs, you will after this. Let's take a look. All right, so here we are on www.latestufosighting's.net, and I will leave a link to this. But an alien like being has been photographed in Bulgaria. Now, they're posting this in September 18th, 2014, but these pictures have surfaced before. But the difference now is that these photos have been analyzed and scrutinized, so to speak, and they have been proven as actual accurate depictions, meaning they haven't been tampered with, they haven't been messed with. But here in this report is an extraordinary photograph of a strange being or a Nephilim that was taken in Bulgaria. This alien-like being, which you can see right here, was photographed by students while they were hiking in Udala. Excuse me if I can't pronounce that right. They've got a video on it, but let me show you the actual photos. Now, here is the actual photo that was taken, but this is the image that we're going to blow up. You can see the two legs, the arms, and the body, and this is actually a huge, humid, not, excuse me, huge human or alien-like creature. Let's go to another picture. Here's the photo zoomed in. As you can clearly see the two legs here, the body, the arms, two skinny arms, and the head here. This is unmistakably and untampered with. They have proven this as of 2014 photograph. And this clearly shows a UFO, an alien gray, or in my case, as I believe they are, a Nephilim or a Nephilim. Say that however you like. But this Nephilim being is actually giant in size when they compared it to the photo. But this giant gray humanoid being was photographed. Now here is an even more up close image of the being, but you can clearly see his body, his face, his arms, his legs, the whole feature right there. And here is the last photo, again, taken in a Bulgarian forest, as you can clearly see here what it is. All right, now let's actually move on to the document. I've showed you some photos of some recent Nephilim or recent evidence for Nephilim, and not to mention the stuff in Roswell that I've shown before. I've actually gone through a top secret document a couple months ago that was written by someone who was personally involved, Area 51 and the like. And now here I am on an FBI or government website, and this is known as the vault. If you're not acquainted with the vault, now is the time to get to know it. It's a very resourceful information, but it contains 6,700 documents that have been scanned for our reading. Basically, documents that have been quote unquote unclassified, and you can get all these from the vault, but these are all the different topics they have. But the one that I want to focus on is unexplained phenomena, because it does exist, and that's some of the things that I want you to understand. Now, on this vault page, and because I like to go to the sources, they have all kinds of different documents here. And here's the wonderful Majestic 12. I've talked about that in the past. Good thing to look into. But as of today, here's a Roswell document. It talks about flying disc, flying document that resembles a weather balloon. Obviously, we know it's not a weather balloon, even though they claim that it resembles. But animal mutilation, I've gone over that as well. All these are things that prove that unexplained phenomenon is occurring. Now, if you're a biblical believer, such as myself, then you're very well aware that most of what we are witnessing today was already written about in the Bible. The Bible tells us about fallen angels. The Bible tells us about other interdimensional beings. The Bible also tells us about Nephilim and the like. These are real things, and demons and things like that. There's a real spiritual world that is here in our world. And this document, which I'm going to focus on right here next, and I'm just going to brief it because I don't want to waste a lot of your time, proves that these are interdimensional beings, meaning they're not from other planets, which I have always classified and said. And here's just a real quick, your Project Blue Book on UFO. But let's check this one out. This is the one I want to focus on today. Now, this particular document was created or made in 1947, and this release details the FBI's role in investigating reports between 1947 and 1954. These include UFO sightings and the like. All right, so this document is actually a compilation of, different things that people have witnessed in regards to, flying saucers. This is an account that took place. Let me make this. There we go. In Idaho, of a saucer within a saucer, and that if it was the work of a prankster, they went to quite a bit of trouble. And this was back in 1947. Right? So these are just different encounters and things like that of UFOs. So you can see here, flying disc, and it tells about the incident. Again, where is it? Police Sergeant. Oh, there it is. Flying disc, another flying disc. All of these are, somewhat about, but it tells the area, what they report, what they saw, yada yada. If you want to pause and read these, feel free. They're interesting. They're very, very interesting for sure. But it's just proof that something else is out there. See, flying disc yet again, rather than just us. And I do believe that this is evidence for the Nephilim. And these are the actual reports. And this is from, guess what? Edgar Hoover. So this is basically who this report is directed to. Edgar Hoover. All right, let's go on. More on discs. And I'm just going to fly through some of these so you can see these are actual news clippings or news reports of flying saucers. Check that out. Here's another one. Seen in 36 states. Plane chases disc, find only empty sky. And just a quick thought for those of you who claim maybe it's government building something or something to that aspect. My question is, if it was that, why is our military chasing it? Why is our government going after it? So my suggestion is that it's likely not necessarily some kind of technology here, but it would have to be, extraterrestrial in nature, or, according to my theory, we have Nephilim or fallen angels and the like. But there's tons of these, tons of these. Saucer, saucer. But you can go straight to the source here that I have left for you and get this straight off the website, off of the FBI website. But I just want you to get an idea of some of the things that they've encountered or that they've listed, in regards to UFO. And these are some of the reports that you're seeing here about UFOs. Here's some more. Flying discs. And there's some more in the Times. All right, I think you kind of get the idea. So what I want to do now is flip over to a certain section of this document here. It is addressed to Edgar Hoover, as you can see. But what I want to do now is basically take you to a section and a page. It's page 22 on this thing, and it tells some of their findings. So let's just go there. And this is where it basically proves that they are interdimensional. Now, there's all kinds of parts. I mean, this is a super long document here. So it goes on and on. We were just looking at part 2, so to speak, but there's newspaper clippings in all of these puppies, all of these bad boys. So if I went through them all, it would actually take hours on end. But let's check this out here. All right, so here we are on it's part 1 or page 1, so to speak, but of the document, it's page 22. So if you want to check it out, that's what we're going to look at. But this is basically, and I've blown this up to kind of help us see it, but it's still the same document about the flying roll, and it's got 6751 on it. But this was again addressed to Edgar Hoover, and it basically talks about a giant interdimensional being. Specifically, they're being visited by giant interdimensional beings. Now, this is in response to some of those things that they have received, but here it says, a very serious situation may develop at any time with regard to the flying saucers, meaning they're worried about all these reports that they're getting, and we should be concerned. If one of those should be attacked, the attacking plan will almost certainly be destroyed. In the public mind, this might create near panic and international suspicion. The principal data concerning these craft is now at hand and must be offered, no matter how fanatical and unintelligible it may seem to minds not previously instructed in thinking this type. And then they list these things that I thought were rather interesting, which I wanted to share with you. Part of the disc carries crews, others under remote control. In other words, many of these have beings inside, so to speak. Their mission is peaceful. At least they claim that their mission is peaceful. I beg to differ. I don't think that they're peaceful visitors. I think they're here with a goal, an agenda as part of Satanist elitist, thus the result of, what happened in Noah's days happened again today, just like the Bible said it would be. Number 3, these visitors, and you see, they're calling them visitors because they're non-human, but they say they are human-like, but much larger in size. Notice the key word, larger in size. If we look back to the Nephilim of the Bible, they were also a lot larger in size. And here they're admitting they're human or alien type, just like what I showed you about the Bulgarian Nephilim. They're also larger in size. And this is an actual government document. You cannot deny what is being shared here. Number 4, they are not excarnate earth people, but come from their own world. Let's move on to number 5 because these kind of go together. They do not come from any planet. Okay, they don't come from a planet, but from another basically interdimensional world that is not perceptible to us. Basically, that's what that's saying. Okay, but notice the word interpenetratos or interpenetrate, so to speak. That's basically going between things or between worlds. That is your interdimensional definition, to penetrate between things. And this is exactly what I've said all along. And here they're finally admitting, hey, we're not from another planet, we're interdimensional, and they're of the spiritual realm. This is obvious. Okay, they move between the spiritual realm and our realm, and God is very clear in the Bible that the spiritual realm does exist. So these are things we need to take into consideration. Number 7, the discs possess a type of radiant energy or a ray. So they're saying some of these things are, can disappear from our vision without a trace and easily disappear. That is because they are interdimensional. There's more proof for that. Number 8, the region from which they come is not the astral plane. Obviously. Number 9, they probably cannot be reached, I believe, by radio. Obviously, they can't be reached by radio, but we can call out to our Heavenly Father to intercede and block some of their attacks. But they're basically admitting the spiritual realm with these beings. I don't know how else to be clear about that, but when you can't reach them by radio, nor can they be reached by radar or a signal, that tells us that they are of the spiritual realm. And I know in the book of the Revelations, it talks about frog-like beings. And I do believe that those are representations of the Nephilim, of what we're going to see in the latter days as we get or go into tribulation whenever that happens. I don't believe we're in that now, but I believe we are nearing that. And when all of that happens, I do believe there is a point where they're going to get kicked out of heaven. This is clear according to the book of Revelations because it does say that Satan and his minions, Satan and the Nephilim aren't never allowed in heaven, but Satan and the fallen angels will get kicked out at some point. We obviously know that the Nephilim need something to inhabit. Ergo, the ships that they have, fallen angels don't really need that. But and because they can take the form of a human and they can be, on earth, so to speak, but Nephilim want to go incognito or in hiding. But obviously, we are understanding that they are very alive and active and around today, just like Genesis 6:4 said that they were. Anyhow, I wanted to show you guys this document, this memorandum. And like I said, it's very, very intense, very, very long, but it's worth reading or at least skimming through some of the information that's on there because, like I said, they've got all kinds of news releases and documents talking about UFO or unidentified flying objects, or in some cases, also beings of sorts that are reported. And, so most of the time, they have a backing to it, such as flying saucers. Anyhow, that being said, I did want to bring this to your attention. And if you still don't believe Nephilim exist, then God be with you. But I do believe that they are real. And I've showed you pictures of Nephilim. I didn't even get into the Roswell photos. Most of you have seen those photos. But there's other documents besides this one. I'm just really, folks, diving into one of these. And I really didn't even intensely dive into it. As you can see from here, there's tons and tons and tons of pages of stuff that we can technically go through. But I don't want to keep you too long. I'm going to leave a link, and I highly encourage you not to take my word for it, but to go through these documents for yourself. And remember, as the Bible says, so it is. As the days of Noah are, back then, so will they be today. But check out the vault if you get a chance. And anyhow, I hope you guys have a blessed week. This is Lisa Haven signing off.